Hello everyone, this is Nick, and this is the weekly Minecraft Ramble. Or it was, before Fraps decided to not record my microphone for this episode. Believe it or not, me and Martin actually recorded nearly an hour this week, but like I said, unfortunately, for some reason, Fraps picked up my capture card as a secondary audio, and I could not get it flipped over to my Yeti, and I didn't notice this until I went to view the footage, and there was no me talking. So instead, I'm not going to bother him to re-record. Not to mention, I'd like to go ahead and knock this out while I've got my hand in it today. So I'm doing this voiceover. I'm going to kind of sum up what we talked about today. This is really strange for me because I'm actually standing in my closet right now, and I can't tell if it sounds better than when I'm in my room. But at least there's not chair noises, so there's that. Okay, so some of the topics we discussed, the biggest one, as you're looking around the footage I'm cutting together, you'll notice that the old world is gone, if you paid any attention. As a matter of fact, no, I'm going to go ahead and take that back. None of you noticed that, because none of you watch these things religiously, because I don't even, and I'm the one making them. Basically what happened was the original realm was recorded. The original realm was made before the latest update of Minecraft, where they introduced 9 different types of stone, and Lapis is enchanting now. The big 1.8, I believe it is. Don't quote me on that. I'm not looking at anything. If I were smart, I would have written things down, but I'm not. So I didn't. Anyway, it's going to get hot in here fast. Anyway, so yeah, what you see here is a fresh start. Basically what happened was, after not touching the realm for nearly 4 months, it dawned on me, I'm paying for this, so I might as well play it, even if I'm the only one who's going to get on. So a little bit before Christmas, I started up a new world and just started playing the way I normally would. I found the first mountain, dug into the side of it, made myself a little hole, and just went from there. I've set up strip mines. I had a storage space going that has been repurposed as the brewing station, which I have yet to use yet, because while we have access to a lot of sand, I don't know alchemy. I haven't taken the time to learn alchemy, because 9 times out of 10 if I boot up Minecraft, it's because I've had a long day. I just want to sit down and kind of dig my hole, so I usually just do that. As you're seeing now, Martin spent a good 6 hours digging a much more expansive storage system. It started with a very small hole. I left him alone with it. Let's see, Monday we got on. We messed around for a while. And he just started digging this storage space. So kudos to him. Some of the other things that came up, yesterday I got really annoyed at Destiny. If none of you have played Destiny, once you get to a certain level, you run out of reasons to play. It's very, very barren. Think Borderlands-ish style in the way of it's mission-based, except it's a lot more segmented. And there's a bunch of different weapons, except there's nowhere near as many as there are in Borderlands. And one of the classes is magical. Basically a siren. One of the classes is basically a siren. The gameplay's solid enough. It's Bungie. They know what they're doing gameplay-wise. There's nothing wrong with the game. As far as when I die, it's usually... Now, I will say that some of the deaths seem BS because of the sheer amount of things they're throwing at me. But it's never because, the game stopped working. It's never because the mechanics stopped working. I have had issues with network connections, but I have issues with every game network connections. Developers can only do so much, and one of the things that they can't account for is my kind of crap connection in the middle of the day. So I'll own that. That's mine. It doesn't matter what I'm playing. I have connection issues. Heck, Minecraft gives me trouble because the realm pings the server, and if it's in the middle of the day, it lags like crazy. And it's not even, hardware lag. It's connection lag, and I can tell because instead of just stopping, it snaps me back to a point. And, seeing as I've lived with a bad connection most of my life, I've learned the difference between hardware and network lag. Anyway, they made me mad when they gave me a bounty for an exotic weapon, and the first one was fine. The first one was complete. It's like in stages. The first stage was complete 5-strike missions without dying. I spent most of the week working on that after work. That was fine because, that's a skill thing, and it's a skill thing that if I was really good enough, I could do by myself, and if not, I can rely on that of others. The next stage was to earn 25 kills or assists in the competitive, and already you've made my hit list for forcing me to play your PvP. Yahtzee has said it a lot of times, and I agree with him. If your game can't stand on its single player, then its multiplayer is probably not going to be any good. Even if it's MMO-ish. If you have heavy single player elements, which Destiny does, it's in the same way Halo did, where you can co-op it, but you don't have to, and you can still feel capable of accomplishing things by yourself. Don't force me to play multiplayer, unless the reward is specifically for multiplayer, which a weapon is not. As a matter of fact, with how they balance weapons in multiplayer, which I appreciate, the fact that they, level the field some, earning a new, better weapon is kind of pointless, because your super high-level weapon is going to do this pretty much the same amount of damage as any other weapon in the game. It's just about how you handle your playstyle and things like that. So the game made me get 25 kills or assists in its multiplayer, and that wouldn't have been a problem if it didn't take a point from me every time I got killed. And I get it. You're wanting to reward people with stuff, and that's fine, but like I said, reward them with things specifically for the multiplayer. Don't entice people who just want to play the single player into the multiplayer where they're just going to get frustrated at your game. And maybe this is just a me thing. I can live with that, and this is a ramble, so this is it's just my opinions. So there are other people, I'm sure, who feel different, and most of them are probably better at the multiplayer than me, so that has a lot to do with their decision. Me, however, I had one good game, was within 10 points of accomplishing the goal and being able to move on with life, and I had a bad match and lost literally all of my progress, and that's when I just dropped the bounty and said, this weapon is not worth it. I don't care what it is. It's not going to be worth it. And I was right. It's a weapon type that I wouldn't have even used. So not only were they enticing me into a bounty for a weapon, basically they were making me jump through thousands of hoops without telling me what weapon I was going to get. The hoops they were making me jump through were ridiculous. So, even I generally use hand cannons, or I generally use like single action things, and they were giving me a special that I would never use. I think it was either the fusion rifle or it might have been the shotgun. I can't remember, but I don't use either of those things. So I would have gone through all that pain, all that suffering. I'd probably still be working at it if I hadn't just given up, because I realized I was going to physically break something if I didn't. And at the end of the road, there would have been a weapon that I never would have used, ever. So, if you're going to make me jump through the hoops, tell me what my reward is going to be so I can judge whether or not it's going to be worth it. Just some general pointers from a man with far too much hair, in case someone decided to take that to heart. So yeah, we talked about that. And I can't remember how it got mentioned, but I do remember how it got mentioned, and I'm going to work up to that then. Another issue I kind of have with Destiny is they try really hard to be this rich world, but all of the lore and most of the story, but outside of what you physically do in the game, is separate from the game. Like, you have to earn Grimoire cards and then go read the lore online. And no. I get it. I understand, having supplementary stuff to your story is fine. I mean, look at Mass Effect. I love Mass Effect. Most of the story, it'll streamline for me. It'll, you're just like, all right, we don't like these guys, and you can literally ask, why not? And they'll tell you really quick. Or you can go into a codex and listen, either if it's a primary codex, listen to a nice man read it to you, or read in even deeper into the secondary codexes yourself. Within the game. You don't have to leave the game. You don't have to go find a computer, and you certainly don't have to accomplish things before you get rewarded with story, that you need to understand what the game is asking you to do now. So that was a big what are you doing point for me. So yeah, the whole separation of story and points that you need to understand the story from the actual game itself, that just doesn't make any sense to me. I can get it if it was completely arbitrary, like you did not need to know these things at all, and you were just kind of trying to, I don't even know. The only reason I can think of them trying to pull me through the site is so that I can join a clan, and no. No. That's another feature you should include within your game, if you're going to put clans in your game, don't make me go online and join a clan. Include things in the game. Let people invite me to a clan in the game so that, even if I wouldn't do something like that, because I generally prefer to play with a close-knit group of friends. That's just my preferred play style. Don't make people leave the game to do things like that. There's supplementary forums, which are great. A lot of good things go on there, but don't make people go to those forums and deal with those forums to access primary parts of your game, such as story. Don't do that. It's dumb. Anyway, the point I was talking about earlier that we eventually got to is Martin brought up, I don't even know, I can't remember exactly why he brought it up, but he's mentioned something like Mass Effect 4. And, we kind of talked a little while about how, Mass Effect 4, if they decided to do something Destiny-ish, they would at least have the advantage of already having an extremely rich and vibrant universe in play. They don't have to try to establish that. Even for newcomers, they don't have to invent it as they're making the game. They have, over the course of the first 3 games, they have established a universe. Even if whatever Mass Effect 4 is going to be called, we're just going to keep calling it that for now because it's what that way people will understand it. Because that was a point I made. It might not even be quote-unquote Mass Effect 4. It could be completely standalone. And even if it is, and even if that is the first title in the series that people play, you can induct someone into a new world that you have spent 10 years creating a lot faster than what Destiny was trying to do. This is a brand new universe. No one has seen it before but us. It has never been featured before. The enemy types have never been featured before, specifically, at least in the way we're telling them, and all that good stuff. So it's complete blank slate. No one has any idea what's going on besides the small things about like the Traveler and things like that we've leaked before. Complete blank slate. Mass Effect, they've built this universe over a long period of time. The Turians, the Solarians, the Krogans, the Asari, all of this stuff already exists, and all they have to do is explain it, if they chose to do that. Or for returning players like myself, we already understand that. We're in this rich universe. We can enjoy this game, and not to mention, BioWare has already proven that they're smart enough to include all the information about their races and conflicts and things like that within the game. So all I have to do is press start, go to Codex, and then I can learn things. And it's beautiful. And it's glorious. And it's not stupid. I wonder how well I can be heard outside of this closet. Because I've got this mental image of that when all of this is over, I'm going to open the door and my dad's just going to be standing in my bedroom door looking towards the closet, wondering what in the world I'm going on about. No, none of that so far. Okay, good. What else did we talk about? What else was important? So that was like the majority of our ramble. I talked about that for a long time. Because I really did get mad at it yesterday. Because I was trying really hard. Well, no, it wasn't yesterday. It was the day before. Thursday, after I got home from work. I finished the finished strike missions without dying thing. And I'm like, yeah, cool. I get to move on to the next thing. Oh, it's stupid. And it's forcing me to play against other players. Which is out of the control of the developers exactly what's going on. So it's not even a skill thing. Most of it's luck. Even if you're the best person in the world, you're never going to win all of the time. You're going to have bad matches, and you're going to have to start things over. But I'm not going to go back into that. There's another thing that I wanted to mention. I mentioned, and I can't remember what I mentioned it in while I was recording last weekend. So I don't know if it's already been up or not. But at the same time, the Rambles tend to get a few more views than my normal stuff does anyway. So even if it's up, there's a good chance that whoever's watching this hasn't seen it. I'm giving a lot of consideration to playing Super Metroid on my channel. And a lot of people will go, oh, okay, so what? Exactly. And I would say, exactly. Except that the point is, I'm going to try to do a quote-unquote speedrun. And I say that because I know there's no way I'm going to get it down to like these world record levels. I probably won't even be able to get under 2 hours. And I think I know the world record is under an hour. I think it is anyway. Said no, and then I immediately backpedaled because, anyway, I know I'm not going to get anywhere near competitive with it, and that's not the point. The thing is, I played a lot over the last weekend and this weekend, and the big fish boss in Meridia, the one where the room is shooting at you and it just kind of swoops around there, and if it gets it sticky on you, it grabs you, and then it just kind of it shakes you around a bit, and just the whole room is complete chaos. I can get to him and die within an hour and 45 minutes, and that's with a few distractions and all that good stuff. So like I feel like I have a good chance to finish the game in under 3 hours. I know I have in-game time, but then again, I'm not sure exactly how much that timer accounts for. And I also know that quote-unquote speed... I know it doesn't account for deaths, and speedruns absolutely do. Matter of fact, I can get to that point that I was talking about without dying, there. And that was with quite a few mess-ups along the way. Crocomole gave me a lot of trouble to the point where... after I died for good, I left the room, and they're like, you were fussing really bad about it a half an hour ago. And I'm like, yeah, I was. The guy was... Some of the platforming, some of the grapple platforming can be annoying. I finally learned the trick to the weird snout eyeball ghost boss in the sunken ship. Don't use super missiles, because then he screws you. Then he screws you hard with his stupid room sweeping fireballs. So I learned that. I just feel like I have some decent potential to do this game fairly quickly, and I want to try, for my sake, because I've always said that I could be. Well, that doesn't really have any relevance here. I was gonna go on. Anyone has that kind of potential, but I feel like that if I really sat down and tried and devoted myself to one game, I could become competitive in speedruns or like a fighting game if I really sat down and wanted to, but I don't. Except that in Super Metroid, I kind of do. I enjoy the game, and I enjoy being fairly good at the game because I'm not bad. I'm definitely not amazing at the game, and some people would say I'm not even good at the game. But, I know it. I've taken the time, I've learned, the order of pickups, how to be efficient about things, and I've been practicing and planning Super Metroid. So, if something breaks soon, expect me to take a Monday or a Friday, sit down, and play it. And when I do it, I'm going to do it in one sitting. So it'll be that'll be new to the channel, that I sit down and finish a game. If I sit down and fail, I probably won't upload it. I might do an edit. Once I do accomplish it, if I ever do, I might keep some of those things, and cut up an outtake, quote unquote, reel. I'd also like to have somebody over while I'm doing that, because there are quite a few parts of the game that I'm just going to sit down. I'm just going to shut up and play the game, and it would be nice to have somebody else around to carry a conversation or something like that. It's going to be interesting, and it's just something that I want to try because I want to challenge myself with it. I'm really happy to be back in general. The whole break, I've been doing other things, and I'm like, I kind of miss recording. I don't always miss how annoying some of the setups can be and how irritating some of the glitches can be, like this thing today, or I want to say, I haven't gone back and looked at it for sure, but I think that when I edited together the Paper Mario stuff I did yesterday, which I started uploading this week, probably, I think. Yeah, I've got one more Fusion episode. And anyway, I'm fairly sure that my mic sync is about half a second or a full second behind, because I rushed through the editing and just messed up the initial sync. And once I do the initial sync, I just look for where to cut, pull the excess off, publish, remove that, put the excess back in, look for a cut. I do things very quickly, and I do it while listening to other things, and that's definitely a mark of unprofessionalism on my own point. But so that's not really the point. But so I feel like that whole 4-episode set might be off. I think it was 4 episodes. Stop. But yeah, that's kind of where everything stands. Another thing I did this week that I'm going to start doing, and the next time I do it, I might just use the same playlist. Whenever I do Minecraft rambles, I'm going to take a handful of songs, generally from the same album, also generally fairly chill, and just play them in the background. Like today, I took a handful of songs from Harmony of Heroes, the latest project from Shine Sparkers, the lovely people that brought us the 2 Harmony of a Hunter albums. And which in the latest album, Harmony of Heroes is a homage album to the music of Smash Brothers. So there's a lot of really good remixes. Matter of fact, there's already an extension out that I have not listened to yet. I haven't downloaded it, but I have downloaded it, but I have not listened to it yet. I downloaded it before work one day because I realized it existed while I was looking for something else. The core album has music from the Smash Bros. Series, Mario Brothers, Zelda, Metroid, almost said Link, Kirby. There's some Yoshi's Island stuff in there, some F-Zero. Anyway, so I did that, and I'm gonna start doing those playlists behind it just to fill some noise, because Minecraft has some great music, but Minecraft also almost never plays that great music for whatever reason. Get on it, Notch. Make the great music play more. It's good. I'll listen to it. But anyway, apparently I'm being looked for, so I'm going to wrap this up here. This ramble is going to be significantly shorter than it originally was, and I apologize for that. But like I said, there's just no point in re-recording it. We might record another one, but if so, it's going to be next week's, and this is going to be this week's, and I'm sorry about it, but that's the way it is. Anyways, it was like I said already, it's good to be back. And it was good to be back at Minecraft today, and I feel like we had a good one, but it's gone now. But I also feel like this could be pretty cool. As a matter of fact, I might start doing these completely separate things more often, because I can keep a train of thought better, and that's kind of what the rambles are about. But at the same time, we'll see. What I really need to start doing is thinking things ahead of time, and then putting them up somewhere and kind of going down a checklist while I'm playing. Anyways, yeah. So I'll catch you all next week.